Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie. And tonight, like I said, we have a really good show tonight. We've got Juan Lopez, the vice president of Gurkha Cigars. And like I've been saying, if you haven't visited Gurkha lately, you might be missing out on some good things. Get out there and try Gurkha, and you might find something in that portfolio that's hitting you right correctly on your palate. Right now, I'm actually smoking a Grand Aged 2, one of their new lines. We're going to talk about that, and we got a whole lot more we're going to talk about. But before we do all of that, it is of utmost importance that we pay some bills and shout out our sponsors. So let's go right to our sponsors. And this episode of Taking It to the Nub is sponsored. Oh, I think I failed at that. I'm going to come back one second here. I apologize. I need to restart that. Hit the screen too. There we go. And start now. This episode of Taking It to the Nub is sponsored by the Box Press Cigar app, the ultimate cigar smoking experience. With Box Pressed, you can easily catalog cigars with your own virtual humidor, quickly rate and record notes for any cigar using the Smoke Session feature, receive intelligent cigar recommendations based on your personal taste profile, and access exclusive discounts from top cigar brands. You can even shop your favorite cigars directly in the app, then automatically sync the order to your virtual humidor, plus so much more. Download Box Press today by typing bxpr.sd/install into any web browser and discover the world of cigars like never before. That's bxpr.sd/install. And today's show is brought to you by All Saints Cigars, a company founded in 2019 and headed up by industry veteran Mickey Pegg and his two friends, Martin Corboy, a successful restaurateur, and Frank Leo, an Air Force Academy graduate military veteran. As Mickey explains it, they were all sitting down, talking and smoking cigars, and finally they decided that they would do this thing together. It was time. Mickey said, I decided if I'm going to work hard at it, it should be something I love. Besides, a tough day with a cigar is better than a great day doing anything else. Soon after, they began the process of launching All Saints Cigars, jokingly referring to themselves as the Holy Trinity: St. Michael, St. Martin, and St. Francis. They chose for their logo the cross of St. James, the patron saint of Nicaragua, the country where their cigars will be produced. You can check out All Saints Cigars at www.allsaintscigars.com. All right, now let us bring in Juan Lopez, the vice president of Gurkha Cigars. Senor Lopez, how are you?
Hey, Jimmie, how you doing, buddy?
All right, man. You look like you're having the same weather I'm having right here in Melbourne,
Yes,
Florida.
it's been cloudy all day, but it started raining literally like about an hour and a few minutes ago, and it's a constant little rain, a little bit of thunder here and there, but it hasn't been that bad yet. But as you know, I don't smoke inside the house because I'm married now. So I got a ball chain out there.
And congratulations.
Now so many things I could do, right?
Congratulations. I saw that wonderful vacation honeymoon you were on. You hit some spots that I was at.
That you and I talked about.
Yep.
That you and I talked about ago. You told me you got to go here, and I went to a few of them, and that was a fun time, man. 18 days, longest vacation I've ever taken. and it was well worth it. It was funny enough that when I got back, literally like the week after I got back, that's Tuesday, I flew out to New Jersey, and I did a tasting, and I forgot about two of our blends because I had not spoken cigar blends or cigars to anyone in 18 days. So I decided a bunch kind of thing. And it's say after 18, 21 days, it becomes a habit forming. So I think that's what happened to me there. I smoked cigars, but I didn't really talk to anybody about cigars. And just had a great time with my wife, and it was awesome, man. We look forward to going back and doing it again, but in a smaller scale, maybe a year from now.
Yeah. I mean, it's that was some. I had a grand time in those similar spots, and we want to go back too. So,
yeah, I love it.
We'll get there, and we'll do it again. So here you are. I was just thinking that this month has been this is the third year since the big change over at Gurkha. Was back in 2020. We're in 2023 now. How have things been going now for Gurkha? I mean, you were going through this moment in time, and you came in. You're riding the train, moving forward, doing the best you can do. Where are we with Gurkha on the map today?
Man, I would say, we're up again this year in sales. I mean, we're up slightly last year. We're up pretty big in 21, and 20. Obviously, I've got a little bit of the bump on the road there, but we recovered from it. I think we've come out a better company from it. I think that we started to focus more on just really providing better cigars and better service, and you'll see this year, our packaging is coming back again, which is great because we've always been known for our package, but now that we have the correct partners making cigars for us, and now we can put the packaging together with really good cigars, I think that's going to be a home run. It's a no-brainer for us. So the company, we're doing great. Jim done a hell of a job, staying us, keeping the course. And me and my team are always out there hustling and try to educate our consumers and again and try to help our business retail partners, in anything we can do for them. And listen, man, stuff like that happened. It's gone away. Thank God. I mean, you'll get a little pocket here, there. I'll get a question here and there, but it's majority has gone away. And I think we've all learned from it, and we've moved forward. So we're doing great. Thank God.
So how many sales reps do you have reporting to you now as the VP of sales?
So it's funny because I had this conversation with Jim the other day. I go, hey, I need to hire more people, man. If you want to get to a certain number, I need to hire more people. So I've had 7 or 8 on the road since I took over 13 years ago. And I have 2 on the phone. So I got inside support and I got 7 on the road right now. And yes, they have large territories, but with large territories, along with the inside support that they get, I think we get a full coverage in that way. Mind you, can I shrink territories down and make it more compact where they can focus more on the continued 80-20 rule, but getting those. I always tell my guys, listen, the AB accounts everybody has, we have some C and D accounts that's somebody's A and B account. We want those guys to get to where they are A and B account with us. But to be able to do that, it takes a lot of, you got to be there all the time. You can have, you can have a territory with 6, 7, 5 states to be able to focus on really focus on, let's say 100, ideally. They're like Oliva, Rocky, guys like that. They have like 20 something reps, 3 regionals. So they're able to cover the full coverage. Oliva, we're not there yet. Our numbers are strong. The company's healthy. And we do need to hire, and we're looking to hire a few people, but maybe some along the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. I know in New England, I had a good man in Gio, and unfortunately he passed away. It's going to be almost a year now. And I've had the inside girls handling it. They've done a really good job doing that. But in those territories, you have to have somebody there to create those relationships, because as you know, this industry is all about the relationships.
So what would you say is at this point is your fastest growing region?
Fastest growing region, I would probably say we're super strong in Florida. We're super strong in the Mid Atlantic, real strong there. All the way up to New England, we're soft. So anywhere down from New England all the way down the coast, we're really strong all the way down to Florida, Atlanta, Tennessee, all that area has gotten better. You know, the main reason why we talked about it. Midwest has always been consistent, but I never had somebody there on a regular basis all the time. Okay. So that's a growing one because I have Goni Herrera going out there and doing it for us, and he's doing a hell of a job. But it's a very large territory: Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and Wisconsin for one man. It's a lot of territory, right? So it's really hard to really focus and grow it the right way. It's just a vast territory. Then we're strong in California. We got the distribution license in California, so that helped us a shitload, a ton. Excuse me. And we've always been strong. Everybody's strong in Texas, Arizona. Right. So those states are automatically strong for everybody. Due to the Arizona, due to the amount of great accounts that they have, and then you got Texas with a penny tax, and again, awesome accounts. And Florida, Pennsylvania, you know, the ones that everybody's biggest at. It's, you know, it's all about taxation, population, and people that smoke cigars. You know, it's always going to be Northeast, Texas, Arizona, Florida. That's where the money is.
Now, I haven't been to a Gurkha event in a little while. I would say the last one I was at was probably here at my local shop, and I think I got that sign behind me. So you can see that's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. Your Gurkha events are still doing the same thing. It's still popular. You're giving away swag, giving away signs. Are you still doing this Gurkha?
We're still doing
it wild and fun.
Still doing the swag. You know, as you know, because you're all over the place. There comes the thunder. As you know, I mean, Drew Estate is out swagging everybody and their mother nowadays. I mean, it's like their swag. I mean, I've been to events like Coke, multi-vendor ones with them, and I used to sit there going, "We used to be that. We used to be those guys."
Yeah, but you gotta have one of these.
The Ricky was like, is that Ricky?
That's Ricky.
I haven't made one of those for myself yet because I gotta lose a little weight. I want to look thin.
Oh, you want to look like me now? Okay.
Yes.
You do that.
You're definitely the guy. I told you when I last saw you in Vegas that you look fantastic, but you lost a lot of weight. You look great. Yeah, man, we're still doing the events. I mean, now the events we're choosing to do events. You know, not just if you're gonna do a cut and light to educate the consumer. That's not an event. We'll come out, we'll cut and light, we'll educate the customer. More than anything is, you know, my guys and my ladies. I got 3 ladies. They'll go out and they'll literally just educate the consumer. But on cut and lights, more than anything, they're really educating the managers. So they're spending time with the managers in the store for 3-4 hours and doing a 3-in-1 deal, no real swag. So we're doing a lot more of those. The real events, you know, the ones that people are investing their money as a retailer to come out and do a real, like I call it a true event. That's when we bring all the swag. You know, I'll come on and do it. I do all the festivals, as you know. And more than anything for us is we want to do events where, you know, you're going to guarantee, you know, 70, 80, 100 guys. Cutting lights are cutting lights. It's more spending time with the managers of the stores and seeing a few of the regular guys that come in on a regular basis to the shop anywhere on those days. But yeah, we're still doing events. But again, we're not just doing events just to do events anymore. You know, we're trying to focus on the education side of the business on our end, because like as you know, our portfolio is a large one that I keep shrinking every year. And
Drew Estate's done the same thing. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at what's selling and what's not, and be smart, right?
The way I explain it to my guys and I explain it to the retail partners, and they appreciate it. I go, listen, your space in a humidor, it's like an apartment. You're in an apartment building, you're in an apartment. If this guy's not paying the rent, you got to get rid of him. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Now, where I tell my guys and I tell the retail partners, listen, if something's not working for you and you don't call me or call the rep to call me, we can help you. You know, don't just let it sit there. I mean, when I travel with these guys and I see like old ass shit that's been there for a year, and I told my guys, I'll pull them aside. I won't tell them in front of the customer, but I'll tell them, dude, you got to get rid of that shit. That's just not selling. It's a waste of space where you do something that they don't have now that's doing well for us, or is a new addition to their humidor. And I've been doing a lot of the cleanup here in the last year and a half, 2 years, and I'm doing the same this year. So our focus, again, this year for the show, it's mainly celebrating anniversaries, our 35th year anniversary in the business.
Wow, it's 35 years.
35
Amazing
years
that.
already. So we're doing the remember when the company first started, it only sold to the duty frees and stuff like that. But that was back in 88, 89.
Yeah.
So that, you know, this coming year is going to be the 35th. So you know how it goes. Every year you go a year, you celebrate before you actually get to that year. So we're doing that. So we're coming out with the very popular 35-year humidor that we did a few years back for the 30th, and that went well. We literally did 1,000, sold all 1,000 of the Humies. I'm trying to show you a quick picture real quick. And
Is that the one you showed me at TPE?
No. You'll see it now. It's this guy right here. I don't know if you can see that clearly.
Bring it down. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's Ferrari red.
Okay.
Right? You open up the lid. So the lid, we kept it clean. We didn't put Gurkha on it. We just put 35th year anniversary on the bottom side there on the left-hand side.
Right.
And then when you open the lid, it says Gurkha and it says 1 of 1,000, 2 of 1,000, whatever. No, it's
right.
numbered. And then with it, it comes with 75 cigars.
What does that retail for?
Inside, that's going to retail for $825. So 75 cigars, the humidor, it's retail for $825. So what I'm telling my retailers already and my team is, you know, how the best way to do humidor things is, you know, buy 3 or 4, because there's going to be the 1 or 2 guys going to come in. They're collectors. They're going to want to buy the humidor and they get the cigars, right? And then the other ones, what you do is, you know, charge the MSRP on the cigar, which is about $13-14, and then raffle the humidor off when you sell out of all the cigars. They make their money, and somebody goes home super happy with a new humidor for their home.
Now,
so
is that going to be only 35 years? Is that going to be the 35-year anniversary cigar in it only, or are you going to have a mix?
It's 35-year anniversary cigar only in there, and then for March or late December, March, we're going to introduce the same blend, but in boxes for the PCA. As you know, it's in March now. So it's literally, we're really doing stuff for next year's PCA. Because it's 7.5 months. They're so close to each other that we've been doing that for the last 6 months. We've been focusing on make sure we have everything wrapped up for 2024 as well.
So what is the 35th anniversary blend?
So what we did with the 35th, you know, went back to the guys that we do a shitload of business with, man, and that's our guys in ACC, American Caribbean Cigars.
Great house to work with.
Yeah, they're making a Nicaraguan Maduro wrapper with Indonesian binder, Criollo 98, and yeah, man. I mean, we're excited just for the blend. It's really, really, really good. I think it's going to be even better once we have it at the trade show for 2024. So that's exciting news for us. And then the other thing we're doing, which is this bad boy here, if you can see that or not. I don't have the boxes.
Oh,
yet.
The Year of the Dragon.
That's the Year of the Dragon. So the Year of the Dragon, we're going to show it at the show. It's one size only. It's a 6 3/4 by 52 Figurado. We're making that with our friend, Ram El Artista. He's making great cigars for us. You know, Ram's my dude. Man, we're really excited. It's proprietary. We're not telling anybody what it is yet. We are going to have samples at the show. 15 count box. Again, we're making 1,000 boxes. It's going to retail for about $25. And we actually send out invitations to a top 100 accounts for the show this year to come and, you know, they get to smoke it, sit with us and go over the plan with that brand. The next thing that we're doing, and again, it's just like a lot of people, I think you noticed this year, a lot of companies are celebrating anniversaries, you know, 10-year, 15-year, 30-year, 35, Perdomo with 30. So everybody's celebrating something, right? So I think it's a year of celebration for a lot of the companies. And so we want, this is my idea. So I go to Jim, you know, listen, before I got there, one of the best selling cigars for Gurkha back in the day, ultra expensive, was the beauty. It came in the frosted tube.
Yeah,
and all that beautiful
remember?
stuff, right? So I looked up, I did my homework. It's going to be 25th year since we came out with that cigar. So it's going to be that box that opened.
Is that a rosewood box?
It's like a rosewood with a rose gold band. The box opens this way to the medallion. The frosted. I think old school Gurkha packaging. Again, $30 retail. Only making 1,000 boxes of that as well. And once we're done. And then, like I told you earlier,
who's working with you on that one?
Say it again.
Who's working with you on that one?
This one here is going to be made with our boys that only guys that we know we could make amazing cigars in Dominican Republic, and that's the Cuevas family.
I was going to ask you, it's still with Cuevas.
The Cuevas got first dibs. So that's
I remember years ago, I was down there and I was visiting the Dominican with Ryan Gallimore, big Ryan.
Of course.
And we went into the Cuevas factory and I'm walking around and it's like Gurkhas. They're just lined up everywhere. And they made the best of the Gurkhas. Okay. When people complained about Gurkhas, there were those that you can complain about. There were those you couldn't complain about. And correct. They were making the ones that were.
Well, all the Cellar Reserves, which is, what we focus on, as our staple cigars in every store. Every store should carry the Cellar Reserves family, the Ghost family. And then, the infused stuff is we're known for the cognac, rum, bourbon. We're known for that stuff as well. It's getting a little bit harder in some states, as you know, but it still sells well. It still sells well for us in the states that do, that really don't go after an infusion kind of cigar. So we're doing that. Yeah, so we're doing the beauty, and then last year we introduced the Colección Especial, which I know you have one in your smoking the Grand Age.
I got one of those right here.
So this bad boy here, we kept our promise to 150 stores. The first 3,000 boxes, we're going to go to them. We sold out of those. And now at this year's show, we secured enough tobacco from ASP and A Flores is making this one for us again.
Okay.
That we're going to open it up to 300 stores now. So it's going to be a total of 300 stores nationwide. And it's funny because I get my guys all the time. This store wants it. This store wants it. I go, that's coming. This is going to be a nice thunder shot right now.
Now, did the 100 stores that got those first, I know you sold out to them. Did they sell out of them?
Because we made them do a minimum of 10 apiece. So 10 of each size. So 30 boxes. Mind you, they're 10 count boxes, but they were also $16, $17. They weren't, there were 3 sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really 9,000 boxes total.
Right.
But yeah, that's what it came out to. So yeah, they done well. We got reorders and we told them that we don't have anything right now, but when we do get the next shipment in, full shipment that's coming in now before the show, then they'll be taken care of first, and then the other guys that we're opening up at the show will be obviously followed up after that.
Now, PCA, like you said, is coming up. I'll obviously be climbing a mountain, so if people come by and say hi, you can always tell them, hey, check out what Boss of Jimmie's doing. Maybe they can help us out while we're on the mountain. Well, we'll probably be on the mountain when the show is over, but we're flying out on the 8th. But what is Gurkha doing at the show? You got a bigger booth? You changing? I see people coming up. This show seems to be, and unfortunately, I had to pick a week, and the week had to be falling on the PCA week, unfortunately. And what I'm seeing coming through is a lot of redesign of people coming in with new booths. Like this is like going to be a very special PCA show. It sounds like.
It's funny that you mentioned that. So we remodeled ours. So remember last year when you walked in, we took over the old Drew Estate spot.
Right.
So when you walked in, we were the first guys there. We'll be there again this year, but I cut it about 20% because it seemed like it was too big for our size of staff. So when you got people in there, yeah, it looked good. Everybody's comfortable. But when there wasn't people around or a slow time comes, it looked dead. So we cut it about 20%, still in the front. We took away that one big block that when you walked in, I remember seeing customers going, hey, where's Gurkha? We're the first ones because they're used to looking up and shit like that, and we didn't have the banners, but it was a big block that said Gurkha, but they didn't see it. So we took that out of the equation, and we made neons. Dude, it's gonna be badass. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I don't want to say it because I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be awesome. And so yeah, we revamped the booth as well. We put some money into it, and we're really excited about that. And I'm excited about seeing a lot of, like you said, a lot of the other booths, and I'm just happy that some of my old boys are coming back, man. You know, the generals of the world, and Tata's
Drew Estate's coming back next year.
Drew committed for next year, so I tell all those guys, I go, listen, man, it's a small family owned. We're family owned. This is a small industry. We're freckle in an elephant's ass as an industry, right? When you compare it to everything else in life or in America or in business world, we got to stick together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to seeing all my brothers back, because those guys are all my brothers. They're not competitors, they're brothers. And it's going to be a lot of fun in March when we see the full capacity back to where it needs to be, where it should be. But I'm excited. I'm excited to also see what the guys over at the boutique section are going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely pay a visit, to Gabby Caffey and some of the guys that are back there. I think that was a genius move by both, their association and PCA for allowing them to do that. I'm sure at a discounted rate, because, we know who they are and they know who they are. And listen, baby, that doesn't get milk. So I'm sure they went in there. There's a small group of starting companies that have been around for some have been there for 15 years.
Most of them about 5 years.
Right, but you got a few guys that 10.
Yeah, Caffey's been around for a while, and
right, but they've always stayed small. They've never really gone the other 2, 3 grow, because listen, in any business you got to throw money at everything. And it is what it is, and space is at a premium in the cigar humidors.
Absolutely,
especially with as many as limited editions and all stuff that comes out from all the big guys nowadays. That does flood the humidor for a few months, but they got to take somebody's space out to put that stuff in. So it is what it is, and unfortunately, who comes up in the short end of the stick on that, 90% of the time is going to be the smaller boutique. Which again, there's a lot of really good cigars being made by them or for them. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like back there, and I'm definitely going to pay a visit and say hello to all my buddies back there, and I wish them the best of luck, because again, we're a small industry, man. We want everybody to win.
Are you having an after party?
In my room.
In your room?
No, man.
You're bringing your wife with you, and that's it. You quit.
Yeah. That's the after party. That's the after party. No, it's the other rooms. That's across the street of TI. No. We're not doing an after party this year. Next year, we're planning on doing a big dinner for our top 150. What we normally done in the last 10 years or so is, giving our team, a little bit of rope, for them to take out, their top accounts, as a thank you to them, to some of the nicer restaurants. Obviously, when you take, those guys don't come with one person. It comes, normally 3 or 4, and then the wrap. And then if you put 2, and then what I like to do is I try to make sure that they put it together with at least 2 or 3 stores that are not in the same territory. So like one guy in Baltimore, another guy in North Carolina, where they get to talk and chat about, what they do differently in their neck of the woods that could help the guy in the Carolinas, could help the guy in wherever. So we do that, and we spend a lot of money doing that. When I did the numbers, we could do 150 people party at a really, really nice spot, and we'll save a shitload of money. So we're this year was too late because everything was pretty much taken up. But next year, we've already been working on that, and also next year is it's a big celebration for Mr. Colucci. He turns his 50th anniversary in the cigar industry, which is pretty cool.
Everybody's having anniversaries, man. I mean, I personally am going to celebrate officially. I mean, we're going into our 10th year, but we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary out there, because we kind of launched this whole operation in 2013, but Stogie Press really took off on 2014 because it was a different name in the beginning, and then we switched it. So 2024 we'll probably have a little 10th anniversary thing going on. So
there you go. We did one of those for our 25th, and it was like we had a magician, we rented a big suite, we invited about 200 people in and out throughout, and we had a lot, and it worked out great. But the complaints that we got from the hotel It was tough because you're allowed to smoke, but you know what happens. You know, cigar guys, we don't give a shit. We think we can smoke anywhere. So guys are taking cigars into the elevator, down the elevator.
Oh,
Yeah, that became
yeah, I mean,
became a pain in the ass.
I mean, I remembered parties that were so jammed that they set off the fire alarms when the door opened.
Oh hell yeah! I remember that old CAO party with Leonard Skinner, the one with the Snoop Dogg. I mean, there's so many, man. See, that's the old RTDA that I think that Scott Pierce and his board and his people are trying to somewhat bring back. You know, it's not like it was back then because things are so expensive now. I mean, it's so expensive. And yeah, you need your sponsors, you know, cigar companies. But as he knows and as their board knows, we spend so much money already going out there that to dish out that, like COU used to do their parties. That's $150,000 party. That's a lot of money, man. And that party right now will be $250,000, if not more. You know that.
It's a lot of cigars are you, willing, you have to sell.
Well, are you willing to do that for a 4-hour celebration, or would you rather put that back into better packaging, better cigars, more swag, give it back to the retailer with a promotion or spiffs. You got to think that way now compared to let's have like having a wedding. If you're gonna have a wedding with 180 people, yeah, you can spend $300,000, but you can have the same good time by spending 70, and you save a ton of money.
Yeah, and you give your daughter the money to buy a house.
Not everybody's gonna be happy anyway. Somebody's gonna complain. So
it's always gonna be. It's always complainers out there, no matter where you go.
Exactly.
Your number one seller right now. What is your number one cigar that's being sold?
Number one cigar for Gurkha for the last 2 years has been the Gurkha Ghost, the regular Ghost, as a Toro, and followed by the Ghost 6x60. And then you get into the 15-year and 15-year Limitada and 18. Like those,
I love the Ghost.
Those 5 right there have been our top 5, and they switch back and forth different years. Who's 1, who's 2, and 3. But those have been the 5 that every year has been 60% of our business per se. That's why I keep telling my retailers, listen, you need to carry minimum 2 phases of each of all the sellers. Same thing with the Ghost. We introduced the Connecticut Ghost, which is doing really well for us.
The Connecticut Ghost, man, that's the one that came in a 92 with me. I enjoyed that cigar. It is a fabulous cigar to have in the morning, without a doubt. Cup of coffee, sit back, relax. I mean,
we kept, and you know what? And Jimmie, we kept it in that realm of the same price as the other ones. We didn't want to, we kept it in the $8 to $10 price range.
That's the secret. That's the magic number, because, with today's problems with inflation and people are scrunching any which way they can. They want to splurge. They want to enjoy. That's one thing. But we want an everyday thing. You're looking at a cigar, it's in the $8 to $10 range. And that Ghost is like, I think that, what is it? The Toro is like, what, $9 or something? The Asura?
Yep, $9.
The Asura is like $9. Yep. And it's just a really nice blend, because you've got that Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper on it, but you put the Mexican binder on it.
That was the kicker.
Which gives you something that you don't normally get in a Connecticut, right? And then, of course, you filled it out with even more bolder things. Where I think there's like USA, there's Dominican and Nicaraguan in it. So when you look at it, I just remind people all the time, when you look at a Connecticut, just because it's light doesn't mean, it may not be full on strength, but it might have a richer body than you would normally expect out of just a plain old Connecticut looking cigar. And everybody's getting smart doing that. They're putting in better blends with the Connecticut's, because people really want the flavor. They don't want to smoke a Connecticut and say, all I'm tasting is paper and grass.
Right. Yeah, they don't want like the old Macanudo kind of flavor profile. Listen, back in the day, that's what it was, because there was really no competition, and people really weren't blending cigars to get a different experience for different guys. Now the consumer, and again, and you got to thank the manufacturers, you got to thank guys like you, the magazines, by educating the consumer so much that when you go into stores now, these consumers know as much as I do about my cigar, which is incredible to me, which is cool. But I also get, oh, there's no way I could go down to Nicaragua and blend with you and this. And I go, listen, I wish I could go down all the time, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And it's it's not as easy as people think. But again, it's the consumer nowadays is very, very educated too. So, and their palate has changed. So,
and I think that's it. I think that's important from like you say, from the consumer perspective. We're educating the consumer on different levels. They know what they like. There's a whole new band of brothers and sisters that have joined our club now. You got a lot of the millennials that now are in positions where they have money to spend, where they were just kind of starting, but now they're getting into it more. And then you got the Gen Zs coming up right behind them and just learning about it. You know, the ones that are 21, getting in right in that 20-year-old range, 21-year-old range, they're going to start coming in. And they learn early, and then they discover the flavors and they try different things. They always want to try new stuff. And that's why everybody's like, oh, come on, I always got about something new. And sometimes what's new is old and what's old is new. But hey, get out there and try different things all the time. Expand that palate.
I do the same thing. I try everybody's cigar, man. I love a lot of cigars from other people that I wish I could even try to mimic. But I know what it takes to get to that level. Like, you know, when you try a Fuente Shark or you know, the consistency of a Padron or the flavor and strength and smoothness of a chisel. And, you know, shit like that. It's like to get to those levels, first and foremost, you got to keep it real, real small. And you got to have the right tobacco. And you got to listen. Like Carlito Fuente says all the time, and I love his quote, it's all about passion. And you need to let the cigar, the tobacco rest. Let it rest, let it marinate, let it age. It's like fine wine, and that's why the consistency on a lot of the bigger guys that make amazing cigars.
All right, I'm going to take another quick break here. We're going to do a last shout out to some other sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to dig into some of the other blends that you have and some of the things, and we're going to learn a little more about Juan Lopez, the person,
you got it, my brother,
and talk about your new wedding, your bride, your vacation.
Man, I got a lot of stuff.
All right. We're gonna go right back into that. So let's get into the rest of our sponsors for today.
And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Following in his father's footsteps, his son Juan Jr. continued with the family business, successfully expanding it until events which took place in 1959 forced a dramatic change. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars at their factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas in Santiago, Dominican Republic. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy-to-smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the A.J. Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in 3 popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels.
All right. I want to thank the sponsors. For without them, the show's always a little harder to do. One last big shout out that we have to do, as usual, is our climb for autism. And as you know, we are about to make that climb, my son and I. We're going to be heading over to Japan on July 8th. We're due to climb on July 13th and 14th. Again, if you want to contribute, we have raised over $8,500 right now. You can check out right here by scanning that QR code. Drop a donation. Do everything you can. Everybody that's donated, I want to tell you, we truly appreciate it. This has been an incredible passion of mine. This has grown into something much bigger than I ever would have thought when I started it back at TPE. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's so important to me because every event I go to now, I have people come to me and say, Jimmie, let me tell you about my son, my daughter, my niece, my nephew, my coworker. They share their personal experiences. And this is really beginning to hit me right here, realizing how much our little contributions are having an effect on people that are in need. So anything you can do, make it happen. I'd love to see this get to 10,000 before we climb. There is a huge grand prize coming out. There is a Drew Estate stand-up acid ashtray that we're going to have as a grand prize. And there's also going to be a humidor with 100 cigars in it that Johnny Smokes Uncut's putting in. And you'll see that coming up. Top guys on the list, Johnny Smokes Uncut, over $2,500 out of his group. Smoke in $1,400 or so that they've dropped. My local cigar shop executive, they've raised over 500 plus. We've got Juan Lopez threw in some money in Gurkha. We've got DAV cigars. We've had contributions coming in both in dollars and prizes. I'll be listing all of those out at the end when we come back, but you're going to see some amazing stuff. The video that we'll have on this will shout it all out.
You'll see the great stuff that we're doing on the climb. We're going to have so much fun. And because of you all, I'm even more inspired now to climb 13,000 feet than I was when my son said I was never going to climb a mountain because I was too fat.
No more.
That's it. That's it. So let's get back to Juan. So some of the other blends that have been on my radar screen with you most recently. So we talked about the Ghost, right? Which I thoroughly enjoyed. The other one that I really enjoyed was the Pure Evil. All right. Actually, that came up a little bit higher than the Ghost. Pure Evil, beautiful cigar. I believe that was released last year, right?
That was released last year, correct?
Right,
Last year's
right.
PCA.
Yep. You know, the burn was fairly good. It didn't have any major problems. It had a little off burn, but it's a handmade cigar. It's tough to get that perfect all the time. But I mean, I was getting some nice hearty pepper in the front end of that, some tangy fruit notes, dark chocolate, burnt honey. That's a special note to me, by the way, when I get the honey notes. There are certain notes that I just like, wow, like honey and licorice and things like that I don't always get. And I'm like, man, that's got some interesting transitions. And there was some dark chocolate and some sweetness and earth. It was a very complex cigar. Now, who made that one for you again?
That's made by, again, our boys at ACC, man. Anytime I want something that's a very well priced cigar and I know it's going to be quality tobacco, because I know where he gets his stuff from. It's 99% of it's from AJ. And I haven't done anything with AJ yet, because I told AJ that him and I will be, I'd rather be friends than enemies. I know he makes amazing cigars. But if I put my input in anything, he's gonna tell me who the fuck are you and go fuck yourself. It's Spanish, all of it, obviously. But again, you know, it's I know where the tobacco comes from. So every time I want to do a special project, something different, using nothing but Nicaraguan tobacco, and then you could, you know, find the wrappers that AJ has, you know, that beautiful Ecuadorian Habano that he has as almost like a reddish color to it.
Yeah,
I love.
Yes,
and that's what the Pure Evil has. And man, and again, it's a medium body, a lot of flavor, very consistent. And again, we kept it into that $9 to $10 price range. You know, we wanted to make sure we're fair. Listen, we have expensive stuff. We have something expensive, like what you're smoking right there. That was a little project of mine that I did, the Grand Age 2. So we had 2,700 boxes of that Grand Age sitting there with no cigars for the last like 8 years. We went back to the warehouse. You know, we do this every so often. We start cleaning stuff up in the warehouse, and I get, you know, guys to bring pallets down. Jim Colucci and I will sit there, and we found these boxes, and I go, Jim, I have an idea. You know, that box is a beautiful display case for a store, and what better way to give a display case or a store where space is limited is by making it a Habano, a Connecticut seed, and a Maduro. And the key to that is, let's call our guys, again, we called a factory that's a dear friend, relatively new in the business, but I knew by visiting them and talking to them that they have decent smokes, good tobacco, and I knew I could get a really good price point that I could then pass on to the consumer and the retailer. So you're talking that cigar you're smoking, that Maduro right there is retails for $650. It's hard to find a handmade long filler cigar with that kind of flavor and that taste for that price point. And funny enough, we sold almost 2,000 boxes already. And then the kicker is we're continuing to make it with a refill program that we send you the bundles. Now, to send you the bundles, we save you money too, because now we don't have to ship the box, and the cigar becomes a $6 cigar, which is even better for the consumer, right? So I mean, listen, it was a no-brainer for us. I told my guys, it's not going to be for every store. I know that. Listen, now I'm one guy that I understand the mentality of a retailer of 26 years doing this. It takes the same effort to sell a $20 cigar as it does a $6 cigar, and a 20 you make 10, and a 6 you make $3.25 or $3, right? I get it, but there's also a lot of guys out there, you know, especially the smaller C&D accounts that can't sell that $20 cigar, but their focus is mainly that $6 to $8 cigar, and that's a market that I wanted to tap into. So that's what we came up with, that Grand Age 2, and thank goodness it's come up pretty good so far. And we guaranteed production on that cigar at the prices we're getting it for, the quality we're getting it for at least 500,000 sticks. So we're secure for a good 2 to 3 years at least. So I'm very happy with that. And yeah, man, like that, Jim, you know, we that's what we do, man. We try to find good stuff and pass it on to the consumer so they can thoroughly enjoy the cigars. As you know, man, you know, Gurkha is you like it, you hate it kind of brand. You know, luckily for us, you know, a lot of people love it. The ones that don't like it are the ones that are still stuck in some of the stigma from back in the day.
And revisit.
Back in the day, and some of the guys that strictly buy a lot of online stuff, you know, that, you know, sometimes we can really control. And I always tell every consumer, and every time I do these kind of interviews, you know, don't forget to support your brick and mortar, man. That's what made this industry. That's what made this country. And these guys need you, your help. And remember, every time you go in there, you know, you're taking up their time, you're taking up their space, you're taking up their air conditioning. You know, don't forget, don't walk in with a cigar, buy a cigar. If you're gonna walk in with a cigar, at least buy a cigar. And you know, make sure it's a brick and mortar brand that you're smoking from their humidor. So I'm very keen on that. And every time I travel, everywhere I go, I buy 2 or 3 cigars from every store. That's just what I do. And it's never mine. It's always somebody else's. So they see that I'm just not buying my stuff. And again, it's all about, you know, trying to continue to grow. What people tend to think is a dying breed of brick and mortars. I truly believe that it's not. I think that little by little it's going to keep coming back, because the small industry that we are, it's still, listen, it's what's better than going to a cigar shop and sitting around with a whole bunch of guys and ladies that become your family. I mean, that's you don't get that. You don't get that anywhere else. You really don't. There's no other industry that you really could have that. So that's what I love about our industry. That's why I will always and continue to support our brick and mortar partners in our industry.
Fantastic. Now, you just we'll switch gears a little bit here. You just recently got married. You gave your new bride a beautiful 18-day vacation over in Europe. So you went to some cool places, I understand. What were a couple of your favorite destinations you went to?
So I know you and I spoke about Lisbon. So I enjoy Lisbon, but I fell in love with Madrid. I have been to Madrid to drop my daughter off in school 4 years ago. She studied abroad, and I was only there for 2 days, so I didn't get to thoroughly enjoy like I did this time around. I love Madrid, man. Madrid is hands down that kind of place I would love to live in, just because the culture, the people, the food.
Oh my God, the food is awesome. Awesome.
Food, the San Miguel market, man. I could live there. I can literally bring me a cot, put me on somebody's little room. I'll sleep and eat. It's amazing. And the culture, I love that. I love Valencia was great. Again, we went to Italy. Who doesn't love Italy, right? The best food in the world, I think. For me personally, I think, you know, Italy is amazing. So is Greece, but we didn't go on to Greece on this one. But yeah, we had an amazing time. We went to great restaurants. Funny enough, one of the best restaurants I went to in the whole trip, the sun's shining, it's beautiful, was in our hotel. We stayed in Madrid. We stayed at the DoubleTree, right smack down in downtown. And dude, I go, man, you know what? We've eaten all this rich food, all this, you know, I'm gonna move for sushi. There's gotta be good sushi here. There's gotta be. And luckily enough, in our hotel, there's a small little restaurant that's a 3-star chef, Michelin star chef, that's only sits 26 people.
Wow.
The tasting menu is 18 courses. It's 220 euro a person, but it comes with a pairing of wines and sakis and shit like that. But it was an amazing experience. And I know the Cuevases and Benedicts were out there this past week, and I think I told Dan, I go, hey, dude, if you guys, you're not gonna get sick of eating, but if you want to do a little, you know, change it up a little bit with some sushi, this thing was outrageous. The best sushi meal I've ever had in my life, and the creativity was amazing. Dude, everything about Spain was fucking awesome, and I love it out there. And
now, did you, when you were in Madrid, I'll just share this. Did you stop in this shop?
I did not.
Man, I should have told you about this. This shop, look at this place.
Oh, wow.
This shop, believe it or not.
I stopped at the one in right from our, not too far from us. It was Casa Habanos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I stopped there, but again, dude, their pricing, did I?
Wow, no. What you saw on those shelves there, by the way, so you walk in that shop and it's like walking into an American shop. It's
Yeah, the
Dominican,
New World cigars.
Honduran, it's all New
Yeah.
World, and had the little tiny section of Cuban cigars that were really the empty shelf almost. And when I asked the tobacconist about the Cubans, he told me, he goes, look, first of all, they've gotten really expensive, but they do sell out as soon as they get them in. Secondly, he said, they can't get them a lot of times because they're all going to China because China owns part of Habanos now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought one. I said, well, I'm not always in a place where I can have a Cuban cigar. So I always like a Monte 2. So I picked up a Monte 2. And then some other stuff I bought. And I'm sitting outside in a cafe in Madrid. And I'm having a cup of coffee, nice espresso, and a piece of cake. And I'm watching people walk by. And I'm smoking that cigar, and it started off good, but it went off the rails. And I'm like going, this is why I don't like Cuban cigars anymore. Okay, their quality. I mean, the New World rollers come from Cuba. They're bringing them out. They're defecting. They're going to places like Nicaragua and the Dominican. Okay,
absolutely.
and they don't have the quality that they used to have. So
no, yeah, I mean, listen, they don't turn their soil. They don't quality check anything because everything they make is sold, and somebody's gonna smoke it. It's gonna be sold no matter what. And again, listen, I'll put, and this is why the growth of Nicaraguan tobacco and the imports of Nicaraguan tobacco into this country and worldwide has doubled in the last 5 years, because not only is the soil rich, but the guys who are there are the guys that started all that stuff in Cuba, so they know what they're doing. The Plasencias of the world, and you got the new guys, the AJs that came with that from the tutelage of Cuban old school tobacco growing, the Garcias, guys like that, and Nick Perdomo. I mean, there's so many of them to name, but I mean, those guys are the ones that are really, I mean, taking this. Listen, man, I started in '96, and I remember you could put dog shit on a cigar, and people will buy it. It was truly. I mean, it was crazy. You could sell anything. That's when that was the age of the Don Nobodies. Right during like the middle of the boom. And then those guys went away, and then it took a little bit of a dive. Then it got better. Then it got consistently better, and then it stayed consistently. Now it just gets better every time, and every year, man, trying to keep up. Because listen, if your cigar doesn't look good, doesn't draw, doesn't taste right, you're not gonna make it in this industry. Not in the U.S. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have. Yeah, the Cubans. Listen, it's a forbidden fruit that you can't get here. The guys that do get it, most of the time are not even real. So they're smoking Nicaraguan tobacco anyway, right? And the guys that do get it on a regular basis, the ones that get the real shit that are decent. I mean, I think I told you a story on your last time I was with you. I went to Switzerland, and the Swiss edition Juan Lopez, obviously my name, it's a Solomon size. And I'm in this guy Tom Portman's store in St. Gallen, Switzerland. He's got 3 stores, awesome guy. And I go, hey Tom, I want to buy the Juan Lopez Colección Suiza, a box, a 10-count box, 500 francs, whatever the hell it is, expensive as hell. He takes out 10 boxes of cigars. So I go, Mr. Portman, I got to make sure I told you, I want 10 cigars. I want a box, not 10 boxes of cigars, right? And he goes, no, Mr. Lopez, out of respect to you, especially on these shapes, I got to touch 100 cigars to get you 10 good ones. if you do that in the U.S.,
you're out of business. You're out of business.
Yeah.
One of our listeners tonight, Daniel Neufeld, he chimed in. He says, I've had a few of your cigars and I really enjoyed them. If you get a bad one, always revisit. I've had lots that the first one is not satisfying and the second is absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Daniel. I agree, man. Listen.
And he's up in Canada, so he's paying a hefty price for those.
He's paying some hefty pricing up there. But people need to also comprehend a cigar could taste different to you because of your mood, the food. There's so many variables in there that could make a certain experience with the same cigar in the same box of cigars. Oh, yeah. Right? You'll grab one and you had a shitty day, or you ate something, and the cigar says no. You just the mindset is not there.
The mindset, the
You're
hormones
relaxing,
going crazy on you.
correct, everything. It ruins your palate, and dude, I agree. You always try everything at least twice, especially in a handmade product like cigars. And yeah, I mean that's great advice to give to the rest of the consumers and cigar smokers of the world.
Now, what's your footprint in over in Europe now?
We are now in 76 countries.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm coming out, and you'll get some swag from us here soon. I created along with my wife, who's our marketing director. We're coming out with a new little campaign called Gurkha Worldwide. So we got these shirts with a globe, all the countries that we're in, with a compass, and it's got that burnt orange, really cool. The hats. So you'll see that out there in events, and I'll make sure I send some to you. And we're focusing a lot on that because listen, that other side of the industry, the business, is still only like 15% of our business, but it's growing.
Right.
I mean, it's growing. It's growing slow. It's going slow because there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, 8 years ago, you're in Europe. You're talking Alec Bradley, Fuente, maybe some Perdomo and Oliva. Now everybody and their mothers out there, even the smaller boutiques are going out there. Like Ricky with West Tampa, Fratello, Omar, Black Label. Even all those guys are going out there because they know.
Their palate has adjusted. I talked to some of my European friends on Zoom channels, and they would always say years ago, right, that they would watch, or watch these shows, or they would read the blogs, and they're like, they see all these amazing cigars, but they can't get them, right? They're stuck with the Cubans and a few other things, like you said. And now you've gotten into the market, and the palate now is changing, just like our palate has changed to go deep Nicaraguan, all right, with Dominican right behind it. It used to be the other way around. So that whole palette over there is beginning to shift. And like you said, the market is getting big, and there's opportunity. There's a huge opportunity there.
And let me tell you, they want to learn. I've been out there a few times, 2-3 weeks at a time. And they want to learn. They're sponges. They want to. It's a cigar boom going on over there. There's a cigar boom in South America, Chile, Argentina, Brazil. Dude, unbelievable the amount of business that we're doing down there. It's really crazy. Because I know when they say 1%ers, it's truly the 1%ers who smoke, premium cigars in those countries, right? But the ones that do, man, thoroughly follow our stuff. We do really great in Brazil, Argentina, Chile. Places like that, we do great. Mexico, we have a ton of stores that we do sell to our distributor. But yeah, man, it's a worldwide movement. And listen, man, I want to thank the Cubans for making shitty cigars and expensive ones. From a Cuban to a Cuban, thank you.
So let's dig into that for just a moment. Let's move into a little more about Juan Lopez. So Juan Lopez, Cuban. Born in Cuba or raised in America?
Born in Cuba. Got here when I was 9.5 years old in 1980 with my mother and my sister in the Mario boat lift. Same boat lift that also produced Rafa Nadal, which you know who he is, Nadal, and a few others that are in the business. And yeah, man, I haven't been back, but I surprised my wife, and I told her that for Thanksgiving, since my daughters are going to be away with their mom and that side of the family, we're going to go to Cuba for 5 days. So I'm going for Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm going from Wednesday through Sunday.
There you go. That should be interesting.
Yeah, I just I got to go see I haven't been back in 43 years.
Do you have any family over there still?
I have two. I have a second uncle and an aunt through my mom's side of the family. On my dad's side, there's no one left. Everybody's already either dead or here. So yeah, listen, I wanted to go test the waters, go check it out before I bring my girls along with me, my daughters. Because it's funny because I have a Cuban passport. I had to get a Cuban passport because I called American. I'm like, well, Mr. Lopez, I called Hotel Nacional to stay there. They're like, because guys are telling me, oh, you cannot stay there. I go, oh, what do you mean? So I call Hotel Nacional in Cuba and I speak to them and they go, oh, what do you mean? You're a Cuban national. I'm like, damn, I sound like I'm a spy.
Be careful.
Well, he goes, no, it says you're a dual citizen. You have citizenship in the U.S., which I've had since I was 18, and I got my Cuban passport about 3 years ago, and I never used it, and it actually expires in 2 years. So I want to make sure that I take that trip, check it out, and then do a nice family vacation for a 10-day, hit all the great beaches, take my kids to where I was born, and all that good stuff. That'll be like a nice family trip that we'll take one day together. God bless, God willing.
There you go. Now, do you?
Yeah, man.
So, do you, as a Cuban, do you love dancing?
Come on, man. Well, I love to dance. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to drink. Love to smoke. Everything. Listen, island mentality is a different mentality. I always tell people. Everybody says, Hispanics. Yeah, I get the word Hispanics, but what do you call a Jamaican? You don't call a Jamaican a Hispanic. You call him a Jamaican. What do you
call
an
islander?
We're island people, man. We're island. Exactly. We're island people. Listen.
Well, I'm an island guy. I was born on Long Island. I'm an island guy.
I love it. That's great. But
or as we say, Long Island. We're Guyland
Long
guys.
Long
Guyland guys.
Love it. Yeah, but again, man, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a fun trip. I'm also I'm gonna be a grandpa here, God willing, knock on wood.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Here in late July.
There is nothing better than grandchildren.
Yeah, that's what they say, man. I go. Listen, I love my daughters. They're amazing, but they're very expensive. My wife now says, "Do you think they're expensive? When do you have your grandkid? Anybody tells you the same thing, no." And as they tell me that, she's got a crib already, and she has her own room in my house. She's got the crib. She's got clothes. And she hasn't been born yet. So
I mean, Christmas time. My daughter and my son-in-law get their whatever obligatory gift, but the expensive shit is going to the grandkids.
Amen.
And that's what you're gonna do. I spoil them rotten when I can.
Absolutely. And they can stay for a week or two, and then you can hand them back, right?
Yeah, you just send them back. And now mine are older. Mine are 13 and 8 or something like that, or going on 9. And but they're just quality children. They're doing a good job raising them. So
that's great, man. I know my daughter and her husband are going to be great, and they're both great people. And yeah, I'm excited for that chapter, man. It's remember, I think it goes back to the losing weight, try to get a little healthier. Because now listen, all my boxes are checked. I got one more. I got 2 college graduates, 2 great jobs. One is senior in high school this year. That's going to be hopefully check box there. Send her off to college, and then I'm done there. And then then now they start focusing on the.
You have all girls?
All girls, man, and a granddaughter coming. Imagine story of my life. Women love me.
Oh, you're getting cursed. You must have did something wrong just so you could learn all about women the rest of your life.
So you know what? I always tell people I know why. I know what he does for a reason, because I probably would have been a real ass of a dad to a boy, because I would have been really tough on him. And I was tough on my girls, but with girls, you got to be tough in a different way. No, yeah. With a boy, he definitely would have gotten some belt action like I did. Nowadays you can't do any of that.
I had a friend of mine years ago who had 3 daughters, and he had told me when my daughter was born, he said, let me tell you about daughters. And the one thing he says is, when the daughter is born, it's daddy's little girl, right? Mm-hmm. And, like you said, between dads and sons and mothers and daughters, mothers are harder on daughters than dads are on daughters. And when something ain't right, they come running to you, daddy, and you got to make a choice between the daughter and the wife. And sometimes that's a hard choice, because you kind of feel for the daughter.
That's a hard choice.
Right. And sometimes you make the wrong choice and go with the daughter, and your wife gets pissed off. But you go through that stage, and then what happens is they said they eventually they grow up and they go into their teens, and their teens, you're like freaking out, right? Because now they're dating, and you kind of know the guy, right? Because you, right? So you got to deal with that problem for a while, and then they go off to college, and then things, and the mother and the daughter are butting heads at that point, just before college, right? They're just ripping each other apart, and you're in the middle. And then they go off to college, and suddenly mother and daughter bond, And it's like, I'm going to go visit, the daughter up in the college. And next thing you know, you look at your credit card bill and you're like going, what? Wait, this is supposed to be a happy trip. And it's like, they went shopping, they went out
That's a
to
happy trip
eat,
for women.
they
Yep.
did all this cool stuff. So that's where the wallet starts kicking in more heavy. And
I know.
then they finally find the right guy. All right. And oh, by the way, at that point, dad's kind of like the money pit, right? Just daddy's the money guy.
Yep.
Right?
Daddy Warbucks.
And then they get married, and of course you have the big wedding, and you spend a lot of money on that. And then you show up at their house, and this is when the magic happens, he told me. And he was absolutely right. The magic happens. You show up at the house, and you're sitting in the husband's best chair. You're drinking his best booze, right? And when the husband looks at the daughter and gives an eye, they go, nope, that's my daddy. Leave him alone.
Amen to that.
You can have whatever
funny,
he wants.
My story is similar to what your friend told you. So mine is girls, right? And I said to all dads that have girls or are so young, I go from when they're born to 14 years old, daddy, 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 daddy. From 15 to 17, 18, that's like high school. They're daddy. Not every guy's like you are. There's a lot of good guys out there. They're not players like you were in high school and college. Daddy, that. Then they go away to college, and no joke. And it's happened to my two that have gone and graduated. Within a semester or two, they call you back and they go, Dad, you were right about that guy. And they go, what the F do I know? I was that guy. That's what I was telling you the whole time.
Right. Exactly. And that's how it is. So
Yeah,
do you,
yeah,
as a Cuban American, Latin American, do you play an instrument?
No, man, I don't play instruments.
You not like Nadal with the piano?
No, I listen. I listen to Rafa Nadal play. I'll sit there and I'll drink with him, but I'll let him play the piano. He's the artist in that end, and he plays beautifully. But no, I never been into the instruments. I do sing well. I dance great. And I'm a pretty decent baseball player back in the day, and now I just play a little golf, sell a lot of cigars, and do what I do, man. That's what I do.
So how did you adjust your baseball swing to a golf swing?
Oh man, it's still there.
That was always my problem.
There's no adjusting. You just gotta find the right way to, like, I'm a TAA like 2 years ago, and I'm playing with like Steve Castro and his son. These guys play all the time. I don't play a lot because I'm always on the road. So they're like, dude, you hit the ball a mile. And I go, oh yeah, no shit. He goes, you're a baseball guy, right? Yeah, absolutely. So they start like adjusting my shit. And then Steve Castro by like 10th hole goes, all right, Juan, so you hit the ball a long way. It always goes to the right or to the left. Where it goes, nobody knows. Do me a favor. Just start aiming the opposite way to where you want to put it. I started doing that down the middle, 300 yards. I'm like, that's the secret.
There you go.
It's just like, when you're a baseball guy, right? You're like, you grip it too hard, which in reality, when you're a baseball player, you're gripping the bat. You don't grip the bat hard until you're about to make the contact.
Right.
You keep your hands loose. And they say in golf is like you're holding a bird in your hand. And no, but then I see that little ball that's just sitting there. Instead of looking at a 95 mile per hour fastball coming at me, I'm like, I just want to kill that ball because it's sitting there.
Yep.
And yeah, that's not golf. That's not the way. That's not the game of golf. It's all about tempo and practice. Golf is tempo and practice.
Yeah, if you just hit it right, man, the elasticity of the ball just lets it run, and I haven't learned that myself yet. I can talk about the physics.
It's tough if you don't play a lot. You gotta play.
No, I had a physics professor in college. I had him for like 2 years, or took all the physics with this one guy because I loved the way he taught. And he taught the whole physics program on two principles: golf and billiards. All right, because everything is elastic collisions, angles, velocity. And I wish I did okay in physics, all right, obviously, but I should have taken those lessons deeper in my mind because I am still not the best pool player I could be. And golf, like you said, I swing too hard. Just hit the ball, right? If you hit that ball correctly, it's
let the club do the work. Let the club do the work.
And when you do get that hit, it's like, I'm a frustrated bass guitarist, right? So I've been dicking around with a bass guitar for 40 something years, and I could probably play the first lick of Smoke in the Water if I'm lucky, right? But when I get into a groove and I find something on that, it's the same thing with like golf or anything. When you get that one moment, everything connects. And you're like, God, that felt so good. And then you try to do it the next day, it doesn't work. It's like, well,
Well,
what was I doing?
but that's the game of golf. For whatever reason, there's that hole number 16 or 17 that it all comes together. Well, maybe because you're about 3 or 4, Johnny Walker Blacks in, or now you lose, you don't care, you're not keeping score, you're like whatever, and you just relax and you hit the ball, and then it makes you come back, again. That's what golf does too. So
yeah, it does.
Same exact thing.
I always tell people my best game I ever had was an 81, and that was on the back nine.
my best score was an 82 in Miami Springs.
That's a great score, man.
Yeah, but that was when I played on a regular basis, like twice a week, and it's a wide open course, so there's a lot of room for error. Because listen, when you hit the ball far, you could listen. The short game is where it's at, but when you hit the ball far, you get away with a lot of instead of you being the guy that you're still if you're 100 yards, 110 yards out. You pitch it in, you're going to be close. Listen, when I'm on the fringe, I'm celebrating. That's a green to me, okay? But when you're 170 yards out, to get it consistently in the green, it's a hard shot in golf unless you play all the time,
Yeah, no, I agree. And mine go into drink. And I if I lose 5 or 6 balls in a game and I get one 200-yard drive and a 10 or 15-yard putt, I'm happy. I had a great game.
It was a good day.
Now, the guys I'm playing with, if they had that kind of game, they'd be breaking their golf clubs.
Oh yeah, no, dude. My wife played college golf, and dude, she kicks my ass every time. So like every time I play her and I beat her a hole, I celebrate and I post the score just for that one hole. And then everybody knows her in the business, so they're like, and they know she plays, and they're like, so where's the rest of the scoreboard? I'm at 95 and she's like at 76. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to see any of that.
Wow. Yeah. Well, they always say if you're going to send your kid goes off to college, if the, one of the great things to have them join up is learn to play golf. Learn to play golf in high school, right? Get out there and play and go into college, because you get on the amateur circuit and you can start rising very rapidly. If you're a good golfer, man, you can make it happen.
Oh, not only that, listen, and it's great for business in the future. It's just like, my daughters, all 3 of them are trilingual. They know French, Spanish, and English. And I'm bilingual in Spanish and English. But listen, that's a huge advantage to go into the workplace when you're bilingual or trilingual. Same thing with golf. If you're a good golfer, in high school and college, and you go into the job world, and you're in a situation where when your boss says, hey Juan, you want to play some golf, and you go out there, obviously you never beat him,
right?
But you outdrive him a few times, so he knows that you have to respect him, to respect you, but you always let him win at the end of the round. But it's a great tool for business. Same thing as a cigar bar. I always tell people, you want to do some good business, go to a cigar bar, man. There's a lot of great business on a cigar bar.
Oh, hell
a lot
yeah.
of great business.
Everybody that has a business in the cigars, they go there, and I've had conversations with people, and then they would tell me, hey, I can help you do this, or I can help you do that. You find a guy that makes the t-shirts or the business cards or the flyers. I've drummed up business for my wife with her marketing company, just from cigar shops. And so I'm talking to somebody, and they show me their website, and they say, I really need some help with my website. I said, hey, here's my wife's card. Call her. Okay, she'll take care of you.
There you go. Yeah. No, that goes. It goes. Business and cigars go hand in hand, man. They really do. Truly do.
Works. All right, Juan. I know you have to meet up with some friends.
I do. There.
I'm going to give you the last word.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, Jimmie, best of luck on that climb, my brother. It's for a great cause. I know you're going to get to 10,000. If you don't, you give me a call and I'll see what I could do for you. And on that end, and thank you for having these formats and platforms, for us to reach out to our customer base and to consumers about what's coming in new, what's going on with our company, what's going on with our personal lives. Because it does make a big difference. So I thank you for that. And I won't see you at PCA, but I'll be cheering for you to get up that mountain, conquer it like you will, you and your son. And those are the moments, man, that I've never had a son. I have daughters. But I'm sure that's an amazing bonding experience for you and your son. And listen, man, you never know when your last day is gonna be here. So enjoy life to the fullest. And it's a great cause you're doing, and I wish you the best, my brother. And I appreciate you.
And the creme de la creme of that is my son is proposing to his girlfriend on the top of the mountain.
Well, I hope she's not watching.
She's climbing. No, she's not watching. She's climbing with us. All right.
That's cool. That's
so
awesome.
yeah,
What a moment, huh? What a moment.
That's
what
going to be really, really special when
what
that
a
happens.
moment, man. Congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
Bringing
Wow,
another
that's
daughter-in-law in. Maybe there'll be grandchildren someday, but who knows?
Hey, it's okay. Hey, all in its due time.
Exactly. All right, everybody. That's the show. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Don't forget, get out there. If you have it in you, go drop a donation.